Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, John, Pauline, back at it again. This time to talk about the Little League World Series. Now, we haven't talked too much about it, but championship week is upon us. Teams have been eliminated. New Jersey, Bayonne, the Metro team has been knocked out by Ohio today as we record this. Sad local team. A lot of fun. That Rincon kid is really, really good. He's going to be something. But the championship game is set for this upcoming Sunday, August 30th. That's going to be at 3 p.m. That's going to be the U.S. winner versus the world winner. The third place game, that's also going to be on Sunday, but at 10 a.m. Right now, I'm rooting for the Alabama team. I want to talk about them in a second. Saturday, August 29th, is going to be the U.S. and World Championship games. That'll be to go to the Little League World Series, like the actual final. Alabama, the team I mentioned, they have Kinley Rasmus. Now, does the last name Rasmus mean anything to you, John?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Daughter of Major League pitcher Corey Rasmus and niece of MLB outfielder Kobe Rasmus. Now, I know you know Kobe Rasmus. So she actually tied Moday Davis's record for most strikeouts by a girl in the Little League World Series tournament history with 14. And she's got at least one more game left. They'll be facing Ohio, who just knocked off New Jersey today. Winner will go to the U.S. semifinals. Now, I was rooting for Bayonne. Again, that Rincon kid I can't wait to see him in the majors sooner than later. He's going to be one of those next ones where you see him on the field, and then you see him all grown up years later, like a Todd.
You think he'll make the majors? Because a lot of World Series players, I don't think, go on.
He had the size. That's the thing. Like, you look at the kid, like the small kids aren't really going to, but the ones that are bigger, taller, bulkier, they're the ones that could go. And I think he's the one, at least from what I've seen, could be one of the ones that goes. But Kinley Rasmus and her cousin, another Rasmus, on the team. But I think it's pretty cool that, she's leading her team with her, MLB family, father, uncles, plural. That's pretty cool. But we'll talk about how that game ends and, who won next week because, again, we know who's in and who's out. We'll know who won by the time we record next week. I'm rooting for Alabama. There's a Pennsylvania team still in it, I believe.
I have no clue. I don't even follow it, which is bad because I don't live that far away from a women's sport.
Yeah, it is very cool how this happens every year. I used to love the Little League World Series video game on the Wii.
I remember that.
Me and my friends would play that forever. I just never knew which team was my local team because I didn't always watch it as a kid. So I always thought that I was the Mid-Atlantic.
That's what I played as.
I'm not in the Mid-Atlantic. We're in the Metro. Or at least I'm in the Metro.
PA's Mid-Atlantic, though.
PA, or at least parts of PA are Mid-Atlantic. PA is definitely – the current Mid-Atlantic team is from PA.
Yeah.
But it's very, very cool. We'll see who they face. But Alabama's the team I'm rooting for now. But while we sit here, I do want to talk about a team we haven't talked about in a few weeks. Whether it's for the best or the worst, let's talk a little Mets. Mets 3-3 since our last episode, 2-1 versus San Diego. Big win for the Mets. San Diego really needed that series, especially fighting for the wild card. And then the Mets lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. They're 59-72 overall. 6-4 in their last 10. They're 17 games back of the division, 11.5 back of the wild card. They have a negative 40 run differential. And if it's not worse enough, when you look at the standings and the expected stats, John, the Mets don't fare much better. They're expected to be a 62-70 win team. They won today, so that makes them 60-72. So a 2-game difference. They're 31-35 away at home. My bad. 31-35 at home, 29-37 away. 32-47 versus teams with a winning record. It's just been a struggle for them. They don't score very many runs. 549 runs scored this season. I'll name some teams that have scored more runs than the Mets. The Athletics have scored more runs than the Mets. The Cardinals have scored more runs than the Mets. The Pirates in fourth place. The Rockies have scored more runs than the Mets. The Rockies have 623. How do you feel about that, John?
Not surprising. I mean, when you let a player go like Alonso and then replace him with Polanco there, I think he has the lowest WAR in all of baseball this season for like qualified player. I think
you fell right into my trap because the Rockies have scored more runs than the Phillies.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. But the Phillies at least like doing well and are winning games and are second in the wild card and 3.5 out of first.
You know what should surprise you then? The Rockies have more runs than every team in the AL East.
That's not surprising.
The Rockies have scored more runs than any team in the AL Central. The Rockies have scored more runs than any team in the AL West.
Do they just have the whole AL almost?
No, they do have the whole AL.
That's hilarious.
Only one team in the NL East, can you guess who it is, has scored more runs than the Rockies?
Dodgers. No,
the NL East.
Oh, the NL East.
NL East.
Nationals.
It's the Nationals. Every other team less than the Rockies.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Central. How many teams in the Central have scored more runs than the Rockies?
1.
3.
Brewers. 3.
The Pirates,
that's right, because
Brewers and Cubs.
Yeah.
And then in the NL West, only the Dodgers have more runs.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean, not really. When you look at some of the games, the Rockies have a lot of their games. You'll notice, like, even though they're doing bad, but they'll have games where they'll put up like 20 runs, like in one game, where like they'll just because the other team just puts position players in, and then like stats get padded. So, and I'm pretty sure it's happening against the Phillies when they put the Phillies. I'm almost positive that they've had some double-digit, runaway games against the Phillies. So, and when you have that, and considering like how low of a scoring game baseball is, when you get a few runaway games, I mean, it can mean a difference where you're outscoring a ton of teams, and it's probably not by many.
Then even if you look at the runs allowed, right? The Mets have allowed 588 runs, scoring only 549. Some teams that have given up around the same amount of runs, I'll give it within 10 runs. But we'll go between 580 and 600 runs.
Yeah.
So teams that have had a similar pitching experience than the Mets. The Phillies at 581. You have the White Sox at 586. The Blue Jays at 581. I'll throw out there that the Yankees are at 488, a whole 100 runs less allowed. The Cardinals at 587. And the Diamondbacks at 596, the Giants at 603, all within that same realm. The Rockies, with their 623 runs scored, have given up 767 runs. 767. That is the most in baseball. So when you can score runs, you can't give up runs. That turns you into the Rockies. The Mets, mediocre, right? Not bad in the amount of runs they've scored, not bad in the amount of runs they've given up. They've just never been able to put those games together for wins. You have a negative 39 run differential. It's tough to come back from that.
Well, they're finally starting to put some wins together now.
7th in their last 10. It's the youth, John, the youth movement with the Mets.
I don't know why they didn't do that to begin with. If they were trying to go for like a whole new core and get rid of the old core because they're like it didn't work. I don't know why they didn't go out and get more pieces that fit better for a better constructed team rather than just being like, we're going to trade for Freddie Peralta. We're going to go out and trade for Marcus Semien. We're going to go out and get Bo Bichette. We're going to go out, and just get all these random guys rather than just bringing up the youth and then trying to fill in where you think you need it. Because If they did that, I think they would have been a wild card team.
Yeah, it's frustrating. They had the opportunity to, even at their worst, be a wild card team, but they just never really found an identity. So we'll see what they do next year. It's going to be a big showcase now for their young guys. Who could they trade away to bring in maybe a star player who's going to actually be a part of their future, sell high, those types.
They need a replacement for Alonso big time, because you can't just go.
You need a first
You
baseman.
need another, not even just a first baseman, just someone in the lineup that's going to bring the power that
You have
Alonso
Soto and Lindor.
You need that. You need at least one other guy
Alvarez
in there.
You thought you had that in Vientos.
Yeah.
Well,
I always said
doubles guy.
Their plan was Vientos, and that was a terrible plan to begin with, because that's what they were going. They got saved last season when they ended up, because they were going to absolutely go with Vientos last season, and then happened to end up keeping Alonso, which saved this season last year.
Right.
But this year it showed that it was flawed. But they need another caliber, another player that's like Alonso caliber good to kind of, I think, help it out.
So let's talk about the other NL East team, the Phillies. Coming into today, 6-1 in there since our last episode. They swept Miami. They swept the Cardinals. Then lost to Seattle last night. 73-59, 9-1 in their last 10. They are the hottest team in baseball right now. Plus 20 run differential. Now, stay in your seat, John. Relax. They have a positive run differential. Not just a positive, a very respectable. So, as we record this at 10:30 and 42 seconds and counting on Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, the Phillies are officially a real threat to win the World Series. They have earned it. They have done everything I've asked. I am all in on the Philadelphia Phils to represent the National League in the playoffs, in the World Series. They are a threat to the Dodgers. They are a threat to all teams of baseball. The Phillies have earned it.
I wish Dylan was here to hear you say this.
Have the Phillies not, every time I had the goalpost set up, had the Phillies not kicked it through the uprights?
They have, and you kept moving the goalposts.
I just kept adjusting, what they need to do, because they just never sold me. They've sold me until they go back and have a negative week, and I can say that they were frauds. But until then, they are not frauds. This is real.
I mean, you're high on them. I am not that high on them. I mean,
what are we doing here, John?
What are we doing?
You're not high on them now? I've been down on them all year. I didn't even pick them to make the playoffs at the start of the year. You've been trying to get me to come around and see the light. How is it that now I'm finally at my highest, that I think that they could win the World Series, that they're a legitimate threat, and you're all of a sudden out on it? I can't win.
They have pitching issues. Now, I will start to say they are doing what I thought they needed to do the past few years, because they were living and dying by the home run, and they are starting to finally string hits together that aren't home runs to score and generate runs. And that's why they are winning all these games, because they are actually putting the ball in play and generating runs off of hits that aren't home runs, which is what they need to do in the playoffs if they're going to win anything and even make it to the World Series. But the issues they have now are bullpen up and down. I don't even know who you want to trust anymore with them, because, I mean, Alvarado is bad now. Kerkering, I'm not really sure. I mean, and even with Duran, he doesn't look as good sometimes. He'll go in and sometimes he's there and he's just missing the zone, and the batters aren't swinging, and he's walking guys or getting on. So he doesn't even, I mean, he's getting the saves, but he doesn't look as good as he did. I mean, he's looking better the last outing. Now you have Painter, good outing last. He's starting to look good, kind of how everyone thought he was. So maybe he kind of turned the corner. Nola's starting to pitch better, possibly because Stubbs has been catching the games. And I think Ruben Amaro Jr. said it might be because Stubbs is a smaller target for him. So he has to lock it, lock in and look at the smaller target more.
That's a stupid reason, though, to not work well with a catcher.
I don't
Even a
know.
smaller target.
It might. I don't. He's a smart. I don't know if that's the thing. He said he just might be that. But you have Panda looking good. Lazardo looking really good. A lot of strikeouts. Sanchez is looking back to normal. He's still not looking as good as he did before the 52. Was it the 51 and 2/3 inning, like scoreless innings?
Right.
I
Okay.
think. Now the biggest issue that I have, Wheeler,
Oh,
has been looking absolutely horrendous. I mean,
he's
his
100 years old.
last 6 starts, he's 0-3 with an 8.51 ERA in his last 6 starts following the Monday night loss against Seattle. That snapped the 9-game winning streak they had. Like I like he is just I don't know what it is.
I
Like
don't either.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's hurt because there's that one thing we were talking about the trade deadline where it was talking about like his velocity was down and they thought it was just under the weather, but he might see something might be going on with him. And the fact that Dombrowski and the Phillies didn't go out and get another starting pitcher at the trade deadline might come back to bite them.
I mean, you got, guys like Painter, right? Can't Painter take that step and be that guy?
He can. It's just I don't know if you trust them. And then come playoff time, you're back in the playoffs again without Wheeler
Look at what
if
the
he
Yankees
is
did,
hurt.
though. Like last year, do you remember what Cam Schlittler was last regular season?
Yeah,
He was fine. He was nothing special. Threes, fours, ERA, just good, not great. All of a sudden, he had that signature playoff series versus the Red Sox, and he's been at that elite Cy Young caliber level ever since. Sometimes you need that adrenaline, that one big moment, and that'll be what propels a guy like Painter into superstardom. Give him a taste of that, and he'll work hard and get to try to get back to that.
I mean, all as I can hope that because like right now, if Wheeler keeps this up, I mean, he won't even be much. Even if he is healthy to play for the playoffs, he's just not going to be much help there if this is what he's going to be putting up. I mean, I think the Phillies just signed Nestor Cortez.
I love Nestor.
I think
Nasty
to a
Nestor.
thing, which is fantastic.
Don't let him pitch to Freddie Freeman.
So,
Word of advice.
well, hopefully they won't. Hopefully they won't need to have him pitch against the Dodgers.
He's a fun guy to have around on the team.
But I think they signed him. I think he's in the minor leagues right now, but I think they signed them though. So
I like Nestor.
I mean, I think they're good. And also, I think before we move on from them, I think we should because I will talk about this a little later. So I'm talking about the Braves, but they're gaining on the Braves. They're
Yeah,
3.5 games out of the NL East.
well, let's continue talking about the Atlanta Braves then.
So, I mean, what are the Braves? Do you have the?
Yeah, so the Atlanta Braves overall, they're 77 and 55, 4 up on the Phillies, but they're 4 and 6 in their last 10. They have won 2 in a row. 618 runs for, 507 against, a plus 111 run differential. Best in the NL East. That's good for 4th best in the National League. That's better than every team in the American League. The Braves are a very good team. Their expected win-loss record is just about on par with their actual win-loss. It's about 1 game off. 78 and 54 is what they're expected. The thing about the Braves, John, at home, they're 43 and 23, but on the road, 34 and 32. They are a much better team at home, and they just don't seem able to really win consistently on the road. And that's going to be tough, and that spells trouble in October because you need to be able to win both home and away. You can't really just rely on those home games to propel you, deep through October.
Yeah, and especially now they're looking like they're kind of sliding a bit the last like month
Yeah,
or so. Because the Phillies, I think, were almost 10 games behind them, or getting close to 10 games behind them, but now they're back up to 3.5. And I mean, they just lost the series against the Diamondbacks, got swept by the Twins,
right.
and they lost the series against the Brewers. Now, the Brewers and the Twins were away, Diamondbacks was home.
Right. Well, so just going off what you're saying, right? Their most recent, they beat the Dodgers today. They beat the Brewers on Sunday. But prior to that, they had lost 2 to the Brewers. They had gotten swept by the Twins, lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, like you said. They took 2 out of 3 from the Mets, but then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. I remember watching that series versus the Yankees and coming away so unimpressed with the Braves. Like, Ronald Acuna Jr., not impressive. Like, he had a good series, but he just seemed like defensively just lazy, just walking to the balls. And he's such an incredible talent that there's got to be something going on where he's playing, like he's 37 years old. And
I
doesn't
don't
break
think
a
he's
hip.
100% still.
It's got to be a mental thing. It seems like he's holding back, and I think that's holding the Braves back. I mean, Chris Sale is amazing. I don't want to lump him with everybody else. Sale's awesome, but an Austin Riley, a Matt like Ozzy Albies, like they're a very good team, and I just feel like even with how well their record says they are and how well they've played, I just don't feel like they've ever reached their actual potential so far this season. And it seems like it's slowly slipping away, whether it's due to health or any number of reasons. They just don't seem to be playing at any point their actual best ball. And I just don't know if they're ever capable of getting to that level.
I'm not. I mean, they just got to get it together because they have 7 games with the Phillies coming up, I believe, in September, and that's going to decide the NL East here. And if the Phillies can keep it close until they get to the series there, I mean, there's a very, very good chance the Braves let this leads like they lose the first place in the NL East here.
The Braves have an insanely difficult 2-week stretch in September. They start off finishing a series against the Nationals with the best offense in baseball, right? Mm. Then they travel to play 4 games in Philly. No off day following that Philly series, that they host 3 games versus Tampa and then host another 3 versus the Phillies.
No day either from there. It's literally,
and then no off day right after Philly again. Yep. To going to Chicago to play the Cubs for 3. Then you finally get an off day, and then you have to travel to Houston and play the Astros for 3, which is bookended by another off day. So between September 20th, that last game versus Houston, because Houston, good team, still in the playoff race, going all the way through September 1st, or if you want to even backdate it, I guess that's a 2-game set versus the Nationals, which is odd. So if you want, let's go through September 1st through September 20th. The Braves don't really have any gimme series where they can like take a breath. Now they end against the Reds and the Marlins, but Nationals for 2, Phillies for 7, Rays for 3, Cubs for 3, Astros for 3. Like, that is a gauntlet. And if I'm Philly, I am so excited to see the Braves go through that, because I'm not confident that they will come out alive. They could fall out of the division. They could fall out of I wouldn't say they'll fall out of the playoffs. I don't want to go that
It's
far.
not an impossibility with how close the wild card race is there. I mean, it would be improbable that they do fall, but not impossible. And the Marlins aren't, and the Reds and the Marlins aren't pushover teams either. I mean, the Reds were a wild card team, and the Marlins are in division, and it's an away game. So
let's not forget what the Phillies have to go throughout the same span. Starting off September, they have 2 games versus the Diamondbacks in Arizona. Tough series. Off day.
It's a 3-game series.
Or I know, but if we're starting on September 1st, you have 2 games.
Yep.
Off day, followed by 4 at home versus the Braves, and then 3 at home versus the Astros. That is a tough series. No off day. And then you travel to Atlanta for 3. So that is a tough stretch. Off day, followed by 2 at the Nationals, best offense in baseball, 4 at the Mets, who anything can happen, right?
Yep.
And then you end the season hosting the Brewers and the Rays. That is still a very, very, very tough stretch of ball for the Phillies. So they're going to need to capitalize and control their own destiny with those 7 games. But you're going to need some help if you're the Phillies with some of the teams facing the Braves, and you got to take care of business yourself because you have a tough schedule too.
Well, I mean, if the Phillies are here, they got to take advantage of when they play the Angels here and sweep the
Right.
Angels. They got to take advantage of the Diamondbacks, and they really got to win those series and stuff. So when they do go up against the Braves, they'll most likely end up splitting some games there, like that they're ahead. So,
Well, let's talk about the Yankees now. They are 5-1 coming into today. They did lose to the Astros, so 5-2, I guess. They are 3-0. They went 3-0 versus Baltimore. They swept them. 2-1 versus Toronto. Now 0-1 versus Houston. 74 and 57 overall. 6-4 in their last 10 heading into today. They are 3.5 games back of the division. They're up 9 as the wild card 1 team. Wild card 2, Boston, is 2.5 games behind them, so that is a very, very tight race. They have a roughly plus 100 run differential. And since August 4th, John, the Yankees have scored about 60-ish runs, 60, 68 now, but coming into today, 60 runs, right? 22 of those 60 have been knocked in by Spencer Jones or George Lombard, just the 2 of them. That's pretty good that they're able to get that production from those 2 guys, 2 rookies, and a guy, Spencer Jones, that people wanted off the team.
why'd they want him off the team?
Because they saw the strikeout rate, the contact rate, and they thought that it was a player that wasn't going to succeed. He's playing very, very well recently. Defensively, offensively, he's looking very good. Now, I'm still scared for the Yankees and how this season will shake out. But outside of today's game, their pitching has been beyond phenomenal. Right, the Yankees, they are 586 runs scored on the year. Not a great offense, not the worst. They have the best pitching, giving up the least amount of runs, 488. Their expected stats, 76 wins, 55 losses, so pretty much on par with what they have. And unlike the Braves, like I was talking about the winning away from home, the Yankees are 33 and 29 at home, but 41 and 28 away. A much better team away from home than they are at home, which is pretty crazy. And then 31-31 against teams over 500. So we're able to put that to bed that they have at least a half decent record against winning teams.
I mean,
what was that?
I was then being like the Yankees. I mean, one of the best teams in the American League.
Yeah, I mean, they're one of the best teams in baseball.
So,
and if we're talking about how tough the schedule is for the Braves and the Phillies going into September, right? You want to hear the Yankees September?
they have an easy or
They started off with 2 games. Again, this is starting September 1st. 2 games against the Angels in Anaheim. Off day. 3 games in San Diego versus the Padres.
Okay.
Off day. 3 games at home versus the Rockies. 3 games at home versus the Mets. 3 games in Minnesota versus the Twins. Off day. 3 games on the road in Arizona. Off day. 4 games in 3 days at home versus Tampa. And then they end 3 games at home versus Baltimore.
So not that tough.
No,
until it gets to the very end there.
Right. Well, you have the 4 games versus Tampa, but again, you're the home team for that, which even if your record's better on the road, you want to be the home team just to have that extra last licks. But it's not especially compared to the Phillies and the Braves, this is a cakewalk of a type of schedule where you need to do your damage. The Red Sox are hot on your heels. The Yankees play the Red Sox as a little preview this upcoming weekend. Judge could be coming back. They're penciling in September 8th as a possible date. Max Fried, they're saying, could be coming back as early as this weekend versus Boston. Then you have Ryan Weathers, who went down, and everybody thought he was going down with Tommy John. He's saying it's just a flexor strain, a very light one, and that he could be back before the end of the year.
So
And
everyone's going to be healthy for the playoffs.
Bellinger just came back. Stanton is going to be out for the year, but I think that's okay.
Is his career over? You think Stanton, is
I
he
hope
just
not,
done?
because I'm a big Stanton fan, but it's not looking good.
It just feels like he's hurt all the time, and he
I
just like
don't know if
he
he's actually
can't get.
hurt. This might be a phantom injury thing,
You think?
but the Yankees are getting healthy. At no point, the Yankees pitching has been. I can't talk enough about how great it's been all year. They have not had their healthy starting five rotation together at any point this season. At any given moment, you've had at least one, if not two players from their best starting five down. That starting five being Schlittler, Fried, Cole, Rodon, and then Weathers or Warren or Clark Schmidt. So you have those seven guys. Any combination of them, you have not had five of them healthy at the same time for the most part, especially those top four. So you're getting hopefully all seven of them back for a playoff series. And even if Ryan Weathers now isn't built up as a starter, having him be a bullpen arm as a lefty, great. Warren hasn't been great this year, but has not been bad. Just about anybody would take him as their fifth starter, eating innings. He'll put you in a position to win almost every day. And then you have Clark Schmidt, who hasn't pitched since last year early, but he could give you something out of the pen. So you're getting better. You've had outlier years for Paul Blackburn. You have an outlier year for Brent Hedrick. You got to take advantage of that. David Bednar in a walk year has been phenomenal as a closer. It's the offense that needs to step up. Luis Garcia playing very, very well as a Yankee. Heliot Ramos, not really. He's also not really needed to be a starter right now, especially with Judge coming back and Bellinger back. Grisham playing at a higher level. Austin Wells playing better baseball. Ryan McMahon should be back at some point soon, too. He's been hurt. Jazz Chisholm has been frustrating, but he is streaky, and he's in the midst of a warm streak. George Lombard, the defense has been a little rough, but that's been the same at every level where he's always started off a little slow and then caught up fairly quick.
I feel like you like him. I feel like, but he overall just upgrade.
Well, it's the shiny new toy. Everybody loved Volpe when he was up. We got to relax on Lombard. He's a very good player, but you don't want the same thing to happen to Volpe to happen to him, where it was too much, too quick, too fast, and we put the world on his shoulders and he crumbled. Not every player is capable of doing it like Judge. So we got to relax, take a little weight off of him. Don't expect too much. But Lombard has been a breath of fresh air. He's not – offensively, he's not a liability. So it's been very, very fun. And the Yankees, it still feels like they're in that June swoon, but they're really not. And it's just hard to get out of that mindset. But once September hits, once that Boston series is over and we don't embarrass ourselves. Because remember, that big Boston win streak started when the Yankees played the Red Sox in Fenway. We don't need to kickstart another Red Sox win streak in September. So we'll see. I'm excited to see how the Yankee season turns out. I want Judge back healthy. I want him to finally have that postseason that we all wanted him to have. Last year, he was very, very good, but it was all singles. It wasn't anything more than that until that home run off of Varland in the playoffs. I think it was off of Varland. But that meant nothing because they lost a series. The AL is wide open. I don't believe in any team in the AL. I'm scared of Boston probably more than any other team, even Tampa. But the Yankees, I think, could beat just about anybody. And I think they could beat anybody in the National League, too. So they could be a World Series winning team. They just got to get out of their own way. On the flip side, you have the Detroit Tigers. They were my pick last week, literally a week ago, to be the third wild card in the playoffs. And since I declared them a wild card playoff team, they were one game back. Now they're 4.5. They went 1-9 in their last 10. 61-70. They've lost 6 in a row. John, it is. I mean,
anyone you pick this season just does bad. I mean, you picked the Mets to go to the
Uh,
World
yeah.
Series and arguably had had the worst season this year out of like compared to what they projected to be.
Oh, it's rough. I mean, if you look at the Tigers, right, their offense has stalled. When they played Tampa, 12 Ks versus Tampa. Their starting pitching can't get out of the first inning clean. You have Framber Valdez giving up like 6 runs to Minnesota. He played the Rays and couldn't have a clean inning. No Riley Green, which is a big reason why their offense is faltering, but just everything is going wrong. And I'm disappointed. I really thought that they were going to make it without Scooble. I want to have a little hope, but it's making it tough for me to believe in them right now.
I mean, still, I mean, they're not completely out of it, and then for how bad the American League has been, I guess all season. I mean, they technically can still come back. So it's not out. I mean, it's going to be hard to, but it's not impossible. And they have the series against the Rays now. They have a series against the Dodgers, series against the Twins, Guardians, Twins again. They play
Right.
the Rockies, Blue Jays, White Sox, Nationals, Pirates. So like a kind of a tough thing, but they do have some teams in there at the end where they can, sweep them and pick up a lot of games there, like against the Rockies. So not impossible. I mean, if they can bring it back into kind of where they were when you said that they were going to be a playoff team,
Right.
At the end of August here, I think they're still in it then. But once they go past 5 games, back behind 5 games, it's done.
Let's talk about some of our studs and duds now. For me, my stud, Angels shortstop Zach Neto, 6 games, 28 at bats. He's got 13 hits in those 28 at bats, 3 of them for doubles, two home runs, 8 RBIs. He's hitting 464 with a 1.321 OPS. And then his antithesis, Brandon Nimmo, right fielder for the Rangers, 6 games, 23 at bats. You know how many hits he has?
0.
0. Not a single hit in 23 at bats. He's walked twice, struck out 6 times. So he's batting 0.000, and he's got a .111 OPS.
It's that Met in him.
It's
the Met in him. That's what it is.
It's crazy how bad of a week Brandon Nimmo's having right now. And then my rookie, Yankees outfielder Spencer Jones. I spoke about him a bit earlier. 5 games, 17 at bats coming into today. 7 hits in those 17 at bats, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. He's hitting 412 with a 1.298 OPS and stellar defense.
My stud, Fernando Tatis Jr., 10 for 22, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, 455 average, and a 1.296 OPS. So finally the Mets star players are finally starting to wake up and do something. I think Machado's still doing bad, though. I think so. I don't know I'm assuming he's doing better than having the worst average in the league. I remember At one point he was batting like 100 something. And then my dud, talked about him earlier, Zach Wheeler. I talked about how he's been so bad his past 6 games with like an ERA over 8, but this past week yesterday against the Mariners, 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 8 earned runs, 5 walks, only 4 strikeouts. He had 4 home runs up, and that is very, very, very unlike Zach Wheeler. So I think something has to be up.
It's got to be
something has to be up.
It's
because the Mariners aren't that good. I mean, they're good, but they should not be that good. So, and then my rookie right fielder for the Orioles, Dylan Bevers, 4 for 13, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 308 average, and a 1.434 OPS. Some power.
Yeah.
Some power for the Orioles there.
Beavers has been playing real well. Now, what's your moment of the week?
Moment of the week? No, it has to be the Phillies come back and then walk off win against the Cardinals for the game 3 there to sweep them. I mean, they were down 4-0 going to the ninth inning. On 2 outs, they scored 6 runs on 2 outs to win the game. And Kyle Schwarber came up, hit a walk-off 2-run homer, which is their first walk-off home run since 2023.
That's crazy. Really?
I believe so.
That's wild.
It has been that long since they had a walk-off home run.
That's insane.
So everything's just going like they are just, like you said, the hottest. They are the hottest team right now. Everything is just going their way.
Now, for me, my moment of the week is just the Randy Arozarena game. He hit a home run on the first pitch of the game, then proceeded to rob a home run in the 3rd inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th, against the Cubs, right? He hit a walk-off 2-run home run. So hit a home run on the first pitch and on the last pitch, and then robbed a home run in between. He's the 3rd player all time to hit a home run on the first and last pitches of a game.
That's crazy.
It's crazy that it's happened before.
That's crazy that it's happened at least 2 other times.
Yeah. It just seems like the sequence of events that needs to lead into this being a possibility. You know, you need to be the leadoff hitter. You need to be the home team. You need to be hit a home run on the first pitch of the game. And then you need to be the guy up while your team is either down or tied in the bottom of the 9th. Like, everything leading to that, it's just such a crazy, like, way to, like, just a series of events.
Just a lot of stuff has to be in place.
And now for the weekly series highlight. For me, Yankees, Red Sox. This is going to be for whoever's going to have the top wildcard spot. I think whoever wins this series is the team that's going to end up being the home team when these guys play each other in October again. So whoever wins it should be the deserving team. I really hope it's the Yankees. They're set up. These are the pitching matchups for this series, at least expected. So you have Patrick Sandoval versus Cam Schlittler on Friday. Then Saturday, you have a doubleheader. That should be Jake Bennett versus Carlos Rodon in Game 1. And then Game 2, the Red Sox don't have a pitcher announced. The Yankees are saying it could be Max Fried. And then Game 4, Ranger Suarez versus Will Warren.
Former Philly great.
So, and then future Philly great Will Warren?
Maybe.
So it's a very good pitching matchup. But the Yankees need to take advantage and win this series. Don't split it. Take 3 out of 4. Sweep them in 4. Just put your foot to their head and don't let them up until they yell uncle. Like, bury them.
My series highlight, another American League. Two another American League teams. White Sox at the Astros. You have the White Sox who are, I think, they're like 2 games up in the Central? Right? No. Are they the Central? Or am I forgetting stuff? Yeah, they're Central. And then the Astros are the West. And the Astros are, I guess when I did this, they were only half a game out of the wild card, but now they are in first. So, but I mean, this right here, I mean, this is a huge series because I mean, depending here, one of these teams get knocked back down the wild card. One, just kind of decide who's going to be the wild card team.
Yeah,
who's going to end up winning their division, even though they're different divisions. It's
definitely going to have an effect.
A lot of the race is so tight in the American League right now. Because it's almost every team is still there.
And we'll figure out, how it is. Our next episode is going to be September baseball. The dog days are over. The stretch is here. We're going to finish out the season strong. I really hope one of our teams, the Yankees, wins the World Series. But let's just hope it's not the Dodgers, the Red Sox this year. And let's hope neither of our teams gets embarrassed in October. How about that?
I'd go for that. I can go for a Yankees-Phillies World Series rematch of the 09.
I will be so toxic, and I don't want to do that to you.
That'd be great though.
No, because if we lose,
Was it the 09 or was it the 20?
It was 09.
It was 09.
Where the Yankees won.
They did. It was close.
But the Phillies won it in 08, so it's not like they came away with nothing.
Yeah, they should have won more for that stretch there from like it was like 06, 07 to like 2011, and they only
they went from 08, they won the World Series. 09, they lost the World Series. 10, they lost to LCS. 11, they lost to DS.
And they had such a good team. Corey, they had Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee. They had Kyle Hendricks, who was crazy. They had Roy Oswalt.
I mean, they had Jimmy Rollins, who was great. They had that overrated second baseman.
Hall of Famer, future
dirty
Hall of Fame
player.
That rule was in the rules. It was fine.
Watch that play and tell me that wasn't the most dirty thing you've ever seen. He destroyed a guy's career for nothing.
And then you had Ryan Howard, Shane Victorino, Jason Worth.
I loved Jason Worth.
Pat Burrell.
I loved Pat Burrell too.
I mean, he
had Bobby Abreu though.
Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't that good. He never hit with runners in scoring position.
No,
all his stuff came when with nobody on base. But they had a good team back then. They had for that little stretch there from 07 to 2011, and they only had one World Series to show for it, and they should have at least had 2 or more because that was such a good team. So I'd like a rematch of that. That's what I'm hoping for.
I just want a cakewalk. Is that too much to ask for?
I think so.
I mean, the Dodgers get it. Why can't we?
I mean, the Phillies blew their cakewalk in was it 2022 when they ended up losing to the Diamondbacks. They just had to play the Rangers, they destroyed the Rangers.
Would have won. They would have won.
They would have, and the bats went cold, and then what's his face forgot how to pitch. Kimbrel forgot how to pitch, and then everyone decided they didn't want to hit anymore.
But that's going to do it for us, John. Any final thoughts as we close out August?
I can't wait for October.
Is it a red October?
I hope so.
It's going to be a corporate navy blue October.
Hope so.
But that'll do it for us. Corey, Jason, John, Pauline. This has been the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast.